So the question is, what do you do when your life is falling apart? And here's the problem. The fact of the matter is, your life was never together in the first place. And by that I mean there was never anything stable, consistent, or dependable about your life. And moreover, it's the clinging to the idea that there is something there that's unchanging that causes us to suffer in the first place. There's nothing we can do about it. You can't pretend that you won't grow older or you won't die one day. There's never been anyone who hasn't been subjected to birth, aging, sickness, and death. And because we can't accept this fact, then we increase our suffering, but we also waste a hell of a lot of time just going against the grain as if we can change the reality some way. Acceptance and learning to live with the fact of impermanence goes a long way to reducing your suffering and making things better. But also gives you a lot of relief in your life. And part of the problem is that no one can fix the situation for you. Ultimately, this is something you need to do for yourself. Like, I can tell you as much as I like that there's something called awakening or a state beyond all suffering. And whether this exists or not, I can't give you any empirical proof for that. But the fact of the matter is, you need to find out for yourself. And you may decide from the very beginning that there is no relief or escape. This is what we call a nihilistic view. I, for one, believe in the truth of awakening and emancipation. And because I believe in that, then I feel obliged to encourage others not to give up. Basically, it's sink or swim. And you either have to get your head above the water, above the waves, or you have to succumb to the ocean of suffering. But as I said previously, it's not all gloom and doom. Because of the fact that everything is ephemeral and changing is also the reason why there is hope, and ultimately is the source of our lasting happiness. You could say you need to roll with the punches, learn to roll with the punches. But more than that, the experience of awareness, consciousness, whatever you call it, is something that is inherently virtuous and blissful. There is a lucid clarity associated with awareness, and people get introduced into this through meditation. And it's not like you need to spend an awful lot of time meditating in order to recognize that or to have insight into this fact. because many of you will have experience in this. When you go off and do a 10-day Vipassana retreat or a 1-week yoga retreat, then many people will have experiences of bliss. Also, if you go to some spiritual teachings, then being carried away by the enthusiasm and the energy of a large group of followers, people will also experience this joy and rapture. What gets us down is that it doesn't last. So I might have significant experiences in my 10-day silent retreat, and then when I get home, everything just seems normal again. This dissatisfaction, this displeasure with the world, comes from thinking things are in some way fixed and lasting. That is the actual source of our suffering. The truth is that life is nothing other than potential. Crisis is opportunity, as they say. For example, when your life falls apart, your relationship falls apart, and you can't imagine that there's anything else that could take its place, or anything that could possibly remedy the situation. But everything is in continual flux. And every moment of experience is potential. Potential for growth and change. But on a subtler level, this quantum reality that we experience, this potential, this ever-changing and empty nature of reality, itself is the source of well-being and happiness. The experience of just being here now is inherently blissful. It's clear, lucid, blissful, and non-conceptual. But we spend all our time wrapped up in our heads and our thoughts, seeing them to be so real. We create narratives and stories about life, how things should be. When the slightest thing doesn't go to plan, it causes us great suffering. The fact of the matter is, the more you cling, the more you will suffer. And the high views are of no use to you if you have a lot of clinging. Westerners like these high views. They talk a lot about infinite consciousness, expansive awareness. And when the slightest little thing comes around to upset their world they've created, then their entire life falls apart. Your life was never together. It was never a cohesive and singular thing. It's not like a lump of rock. It's also not hopeless. Things being hopeless is also clinging to the idea that there is something solid. When you let go of this, then you experience peace of mind and happiness, tranquility, serenity, what they term nirvana, peace, shanti. But again, me telling you isn't enough. problem is you've got to do it yourself. It's up to you. And as I said, you've either got to rise above the waves or succumb to the ocean of suffering. The first thing you need to do is stop thinking too much, because that's never going to bring you any peace or happiness. In fact, clinging to the notion that there is something called thought, that it is somehow significant and related to the world we experience, is one of the greatest sources of our suffering. I mean, here's the problem in a nutshell. We have this way we think about the world, we conceptualize the world, and there's that which we experience directly. And we can't separate the two. We think they're the same. That's called ignorance. For example, my life has this shape, has this pattern. My partner is like this. There is good, there is bad. These are concepts and narratives. And by clinging to these narratives, we miss the point, and we also miss a lot of opportunity in life. As they say, it sounds like a cliche, but every cloud has a silver lining. The truth is, clouds are not one thing. They're ever-changing and ephemeral. From 30,000 feet, that cloud is a glittering ocean of mist. And from underneath, it's a dark shadow on our world. When I was young, then something always made me suffer every year. Where I'm from, I was born in Edmonton, Alberta. Then we have really good summers, or we did in those days, but they're very short. And very quickly, then in end of August or September, the cold air would start coming in. And I knew I soon would have to go back to school and winter would come again. And this made me suffer. I wanted the freedom of going out in the summer and not having to go to school. And I associated that process of the seasons with suffering. And likewise, when I could smell spring in the air, then it would make me very happy. But it's not like anything I can do about the seasons. And not only that, there's nothing inherently wrong. In fact, there is beauty in the spring. There is beauty in the summer, in autumn, in winter. The rain is beautiful. The warmth is beautiful. Even the cold, still dead of winter has a nature and a tranquility. And that's the way it is with life. That is, once you gain clarity about things and learn to appreciate the ever-changing nature of existence and the opportunity of being alive, being here now, and being present. It is my sincere wish that you should find happiness. And that you should find a way to navigate the mundane world. But clinging to the notion that you need to run away somewhere else, or find that somewhere else, some sort of Shangri-La, heavenly realm, better life. In the end, that's only going to make you suffer more. The truth is, we've always had what's necessary for happiness. We just didn't realize it. So until next time, and see you later.